In a quiet town near a popular bar, there was a policeman who stopped drunk driving. After closing, he noticed a redneck stumbling out of the bar, clearly in a state of alcoholic intoxication. The officer watched as the redneck struggled in the parking lot, trying on keys to different cars before eventually finding his own. Getting into the car, the redneck played with the controls, activating unnecessary functions such as alarm clocks on a clear night, flashing headlights, honking the horn, and smoothly moving the car back and forth. When the others left, his car was the only one left. When he finally left, the policeman, deciding that this was an easy arrest, quickly followed him and stopped him. Conducting a breathalyzer test, the policeman expected to see a high level of alcohol, but to his surprise, the device did not show alcohol at all. Puzzled, he suggested that there might be a problem with the device and insisted that the redneck come to the station. The imperturbable hillbilly grinned and said, "I think it works fine. You see, I was the designated bait tonight." Joe reached the age when his family decided it was high time for him to get married. Concerned about his bachelor status, Joe's parents decided to seek help from a well-known marriage broker to help find a suitable couple. A broker seeking to provide the perfect couple visited Joe's house and spent hours talking to Joe and his parents to understand what qualities they are looking for in a future wife. After a thorough search throughout the city and beyond, the broker returned home to Joe satisfied, announcing that he had news about a potential couple. "I think I've found the perfect woman for Joe," he proudly declared, describing her as a woman of ideal age who keeps order in the house, is deeply religious with a firm commitment to prayers, cooks excellently, loves children, and dreams of a big, happy family. To top it all off, she was stunningly beautiful. The family listened attentively. Their excitement grew at the thought of the ringing of wedding bells. However, Joe, always a thoughtful man, had another question. "She sounds amazing, but is she good in bed?" The broker, stroking his chin thoughtfully, replied, "The whole district says yes, but there are those who don't like it." A blonde and a brunette decide to spend their weekend together at a local lake. Since they are alone, they decided to swim naked to feel the water all over their body. After about 30 minutes of frolicking, they decide it's time to end the fun. As soon as they get out of the water, two buses pull up right in front of them and park. Much to their shock and horror, the buses are full of men from the local church they both attend. Since there is nowhere to hide, and their clothes are out of reach, the blonde desperately tries to cover her private parts and rushes for cover. Meanwhile, the brunette covers her face and runs after the blonde. When they disappear from sight, the blonde expresses concern, saying, "God, how are you going to look into the eyes of these men in church now? You didn't even try to cover up your femininity." The brunette replies, "Well, I don't know about you, but these men only recognize me by sight." A foreigner approaches an Egyptian man, offering to sell him a special pill called Viagra for 200 Egyptian pounds. The Egyptian guy refuses, shaking his head, saying that it's not worth it. Despite this, the stranger persists, offering to reduce the price by 40 pounds. The Egyptian remains adamant, rejecting the offer again, insisting that it is not worth it. A determined stranger offers an even lower price of 20 pounds, but the Egyptian again refuses, claiming that it is not worth it. A little upset, the stranger exclaims, "In America, each of these pills costs $20. How can you say that it's not worth it?" The Egyptian smiles and responds intelligently, "The pill is worth it, but my wife, she's not worth it." A large number of viewers watch my videos without a subscription. Therefore, subscribe to my channel so as not to miss new videos with funny jokes. A man expresses his concern to the doctor about his wife's lack of interest in intimate life over the past 6 months. The doctor suggests inviting his wife for a consultation to discuss the problem and identify potential reasons for her disinterest. The next day, the wife visits the doctor's clinic. The doctor is interested in the reasons for the decline in her interest in sexual relations with her husband. The wife explains that for the past 6 months, she has been taking a taxi to work every day, and she does not have any cash with her. Every morning, the taxi driver asks if she can pay the fare, to which she invariably replies, "Or what?" She clarifies that she is often late for work, and her boss asks if they should officially document her lateness, for which she chooses "or what" again. After work, she takes a taxi home, and when the driver asks about the payment, she repeats her choice "or what." The wife stresses that by the time she gets home, she is completely exhausted, and the last thing she thinks about is intimacy. Understanding her situation, the doctor asks if they should inform her husband about it or how. In a major city, a lawyer representing the railroad was involved in a lawsuit filed by an elderly rancher. The valuable bull of the owner of the ranch disappeared from the site through which the railroad passed. The rancher sought fair compensation for the value of the bull. The hearing of the case was scheduled by a justice of the peace in the courthouse on the city square. The railroad lawyer wasted no time trying to convince the rancher to settle the case out of court. After some negotiations, the rancher agreed to satisfy half of his initial request. As soon as the rancher signed the permit and received the check, the young lawyer could not resist expressing his satisfaction with the successful negotiations. He remarked to the rancher that he had outsmarted him, pointing out that he had no way to win the case because the driver was asleep and the fireman was in the car when the train passed through the ranch. The lawyer admitted that he was bluffing, saying that he did not have a single witness who could be called to testify. In response, the old rancher calmly replied, "Well, I'll tell you, young man, I was a little worried about winning this case myself because that damn bull came home like that." A man had recently purchased a new computer, but did not know how to set it up or how to use it in general. So, he asked for help from a young woman he met on the street who knows about computers. She came to his house and started setting up the computer, explaining all the nuances. When it came to choosing a password, she asked, "What password should you set?" Trying to add a note of humor, the man playfully replied, "Tool." The woman entered the password without question and immediately started laughing hard to the point of tears. A notification popped up. Password rejected, not long enough. A young couple on the brink of marriage had just selected their wedding ring. The ring, a modest yet refined piece crafted from platinum and adorned with a diamond, caught the girl's admiration. However, a hint of concern appeared on her face as she turned to the elderly salesman. Hesitatingly, she asked, "Can you advise me on how to ensure this ring remains as beautiful as it is now?" With a genial and paternal smile, the salesman replied, "One of the most effective ways to preserve a wedding ring's beauty is to immerse it in dishwater 3 times a day." Earlier today, a man entered a bar and took a seat. A well-endowed blonde waitress approached, offering him a drink and inquiring about food. Glancing at the menu above the bar, which listed a hot dog for $2, a cheeseburger for $5, and a hand job for $10, the man asked the waitress if she was the one providing the hand jobs. With a grin, she confirmed that she was. The man chuckled and said, "Well, wash your hands. I'll have a cheeseburger." In a rural church in Ireland, a nun is immersed in prayer when a sudden noise and a cloud of green smoke frighten her. When the smoke clears, 2 leprechauns appear in front of her, matching the descriptions from the stories, dressed in green clothes, decorated with fancy hats, sporting red sideburns, and about 2 feet tall. One leprechaun seems shy, while the other looks confident. The brave leprechaun greets the nun, expressing curiosity. "Hello, sister, we have a question. Are there leprechauns here who are nuns?" The nun, taken by surprise, replies, "No, I have been here for 6 years, and there are no leprechaun nuns in this church." The brave leprechaun, not at all embarrassed, continues to pry. "Only 6 years, right? This is a short time. Is there anyone who has been working here longer?" The young nun agrees, offering, "Yes, The Mother Superior has been working here for almost 70 years. She can answer your questions. She's accompanied by a nun. The leprechauns head to the Mother Superior's office. The shy leprechaun is silent, while the brave one expresses gratitude. Nice to meet you, Mother Superior. We have a few questions. Surprised, the Mother Superior encounters a rare sight. Two leprechauns. A brave leprechaun asks, "During the time that you have been here, have there ever been leprechaun nuns here?" The Mother Superior firmly denies, "No, I would definitely remember that." Persisting, the leprechaun asks about the history of the church, wondering if there were leprechaun nuns in the past. The Mother Superior, relying on her knowledge, answers, "I've read all our books twice. There were definitely no leprechaun nuns there." Undeterred, the leprechaun explores other possibilities by asking about leprechaun nuns in other churches in Ireland, or perhaps elsewhere in the world. The Mother Superior, after thoughtful reflection, rejects this idea. If she is not in Ireland, I don't think she will be found anywhere else. Turning to his friend with a grin, the leprechaun declares, "See, I told you, you fucked a penguin."